Hey there, fellow Americans. Breaking news just in that's going to change the lives of millions across our nation. The House has just passed legislation approving double checks totaling $5,580 plus an additional $1,460 for all beneficiaries on Social Security, SSI, and SSDI. Can you believe it? This is the financial relief so many have been desperately waiting for. But what exactly does this mean for you and your loved ones? And how soon could you see these payments hitting your accounts? Stay with me because I'm breaking down everything you need to know about this game-changing development. Before we dive deeper, if you want to stay updated on all the latest Social Security news, benefit increases, and payment dates, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I bring you the most up-to-date information as soon as it happens, and trust me, with changes happening this fast, you don't want to miss a single update. This unprecedented move by the House comes after months of intense debate and advocacy from senior groups across the country. The legislation, which passed with bipartisan support, addresses the growing concerns about inflation's impact on fixed-income beneficiaries. Many Americans relying on these benefits have been struggling to make ends meet as the costs of essentials like groceries, housing, and healthcare continue to climb. But how exactly did we get here? Just last year, many experts were saying additional payments of this magnitude would be impossible given the budget constraints. The newly approved payments will be distributed in two separate rounds. The first payment of $5,580 is designed as a direct inflation adjustment, recognizing that the standard COLA increases haven't kept pace with the real-world price increases many beneficiaries are experiencing. But what many don't realize is that this isn't just a one-time payment. This represents a structural change in how inflation adjustments are calculated going forward. Have you noticed how the previous calculation methods always seemed to underestimate the actual costs affecting seniors and disabled Americans? The additional $1,460 payment addresses specific hardships related to healthcare costs. Medicare Part B premium increases have eaten into benefit increases in recent years, and this supplemental payment aims to offset those rising costs. What makes this particularly significant is that it applies to all Social Security, SSI, and SSDI recipients regardless of benefit level or duration of participation in the programs. Did you know that this is the first time in over a decade that such comprehensive relief has been approved? Now, before you start planning how to spend this money, there are some important things you need to understand about the implementation timeline. The legislation still needs to clear the Senate before heading to the President's desk for final approval. While the House passage represents a massive step forward, there are still potential hurdles ahead. The Senate is expected to vote on the measure within the next 3 weeks, with some analysts predicting modifications to the payment structure. But what's the likelihood the Senate will pass it without major changes? Based on early reactions from key senators, there seems to be strong momentum building. Eligibility for these payments is straightforward if you currently receive Social Security Retirement Benefits, SSI, or SSDI, you will automatically qualify for the full amount. There's no need to apply or fill out additional paperwork. The Social Security Administration will use your existing payment information to distribute these funds. But when exactly will the money arrive? According to the current timeline outlined in the legislation, the first payments could begin as soon as 45 days after final approval, with all payments scheduled to be completed within a 90-day window. Something that hasn't been widely reported is how these payments might affect other benefits some recipients receive. For those on means-tested programs like Medicaid or SNAP benefits, there's good news: these payments will not count as income for determining eligibility for those programs. This was a critical provision advocates fought hard to include. Have you ever noticed how previous benefit increases sometimes led to unintended consequences for those receiving multiple forms of assistance? The funding mechanism for these payments is particularly interesting. Rather than adding to the deficit, legislators identified specific revenue sources, including closing certain tax loopholes and reallocating unspent funds from previous relief packages. This approach has helped garner support from fiscal conservatives who might otherwise have opposed such large direct payments. But will this funding approach be sustainable if these payments become a regular occurrence? That's a question economists are already debating. Many of you have reached out with concerns about the solvency of the Social Security Trust Fund and how these payments might affect the program's long-term viability. According to analysis from the Social Security Administration's chief actuary, these payments will not impact the fund's projected depletion date because they're being financed separately. However, this does raise important questions about the future of Social Security funding. Isn't it time we had a more serious conversation about ensuring these vital programs remain solvent for future generations? For those wondering about taxation, under current tax rules, these supplemental payments will be treated differently than regular Social Security benefits. While normal benefits can be partially taxable depending on your overall income, these special payments have been structured to minimize tax implications for recipients. However, it's always wise to consult with a tax professional about your specific situation. Have you considered how these payments might affect your tax situation next year? The human impact of these payments cannot be overstated. For the average Social Security recipient receiving around $1,800 monthly, these additional payments represent more than 3 months' worth of benefits. For SSI recipients, who typically receive much less, the impact is even more dramatic. I've been hearing from viewers who say this money will allow them to catch up on medical treatments they've been postponing, make necessary home repairs, or simply build a small financial cushion for emergencies. What's particularly remarkable about this legislation is the speed with which it moved through the House. This suggests a growing recognition among lawmakers about the urgent financial pressures facing older Americans and those with disabilities. But what does this tell us about potential future increases? Is this a one-time response to current economic conditions, or does it signal a shift in how our government approaches supporting vulnerable populations? Some financial advisors are already suggesting ways recipients can maximize the impact of these payments. While it might be tempting to spend the money immediately, many experts recommend using at least a portion to pay down high-interest debt, establish or bolster emergency savings, or address deferred home maintenance issues that could become more costly if neglected. What would make the most sense for your personal financial situation? There's also been considerable discussion about the economic impact these payments will have on local communities. When millions of Americans receive substantial payments within a relatively short time frame, the ripple effects throughout the economy can be significant. Small businesses, in particular, may see increased activity as beneficiaries address previously unaffordable needs and wants. Isn't it interesting how policies aimed at helping vulnerable populations can simultaneously stimulate economic activity? As we wait for Senate action, it's worth noting that grassroots advocacy played a crucial role in getting this legislation passed in the House. Phone calls, emails, and letters from concerned citizens made a real difference in persuading representatives to support the measure. This serves as a powerful reminder that civic engagement matters and can drive meaningful policy changes. Have you ever reached out to your elected officials about issues that concern you? The results suggest it might be more effective than many believe. I'll be closely monitoring developments as this legislation moves to the Senate and will provide updates as soon as new information becomes available. Remember, the political landscape can shift quickly, and it's important to stay informed about developments that could affect your financial situation. This is why having reliable sources of information is so crucial in today's fast-moving news environment. If you found this update helpful, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more breaking news and analysis on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, and other programs that affect millions of Americans. Your support helps me continue providing this important information when you need it most. And feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. How would these payments impact your life if they receive final approval? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video with the latest updates on this developing story.